Hello and welcome again to another video of Arizona Trails to Philippine Tales. Now I was going to do a walk and talk, and you can see that the sun is bright and shiny here in the state of Arizona. However, it was sort of funny. I got up, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning right now, and I got up this morning, the sun was out, but I heard thunder, and all of a sudden it started to rain, and it's still going on and off raining. I'll show you some of the puddles here and the small little drizzle instead of going out and walking around on the trails. But I just wanted to start off and say thank you again to everybody that has visited the channel and left comments. I think out of the videos that I have put up, I think I've received about 200 comments, and again, all of them have been cordial. I think out of those 200 comments, I maybe got one person that might have been a little bit overboard in commentary to another person who left a comment. So again, I appreciate out of those 200, so 1 out of 200 is not too bad. Of course, that was mitigated, I hope, and I like to see everybody just bring questions of whatever your experience is and what you do. That's great. That's what it's all about. That's what the channel is about. Today I sort of wanted to cover on, well, you know, a lot of us here are ready to start that journey to a foreign country, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the Philippines, but of course this topic will cover the Philippines. Usually we have to decide where we're going to live when we get to where we want to go. Some people, again, sell their homes and they take that money and they use their nest egg and they go over to go ahead and live in a foreign country, perhaps rent or buy something. Now in the Philippines, most foreigners, of course, cannot own land there in the Philippines. That's an exclusive right for the citizens to own land. And usually if you are single, then of course you're either going to rent a room, rent a condo, or buy a condo unit, those you can buy, or lease some type of property. And again, that's for people. Leasing might be for those that are for long term. Now in my case, being married to a Filipino and going over on the balikbayan visa with that 1 year, and we have decided from previous videos and previous commentary that basically my wife and I will be using a balikbayan visa, probably taking off on the 11th month and going on a shopping trip. Again, Southeast Asia is a great place to just take off and come back into the country under balikbayan, and good for another year. So really, my wife and I had really started this process of owning land or building a house, I would say about 3 years ago now. Of course, one of the first steps we would need is, of course, getting a title to land. Now, my wife had land previously that, of course, was land that was given to her by her parents, and that land was split among her siblings. But it was an area that we didn't want to live in. We had decided on another island in the Philippines. So what we did was we sold that land, and expecting to try and sell that land, take the money, and then focus on finding land somewhere else. We did decide on another property on another island, and it was an island that also had family of my wife. And that's another key thing too, that if you can't make it to the Philippines, to have family over there, or somebody that you know, somebody that you trust, somebody that's willing to do the legwork or running around for you in trying to get things done. So again, you know, I do a shout out on my house videos to Cousin Ray. Cousin Ray is a cousin of my wife, and he's actually the son of my wife's father's sister. So of course that would make them cousins. and he's been really helpful in establishing you know, titles for land. He actually found the property that we had decided on, so he did the legwork, looked around for the best deal. We were able to say, yep, that's the land that we want. And of course, from that point on, then it was about finding the house. Now, of course, I've been putting up house videos online. I mean, right now, currently, this is the 31st week of the house build. I think that it is going to go 52 weeks, maybe a little more. I will be in the Philippines on the 34th week, in which then I will be doing some narration of the house video. I still like the background music. Sometimes house videos can be boring, but what I tell some of the commenters that had say, hey, why don't you do some narration on those house videos, I will be. There are some details that you're probably missing, like what type of rebarb that you're using. I know in the Philippines, my particular house, I'm using 12 millimeter rebar versus say 10 millimeter rebar. Also, how do they put up the columns? How do they attach the rebarb together? How do they put your walls up? How do they put the electrical or the water in? I know my wife and I have been watching another couple building a house in the Philippines. Their house is already done, already completed, but one of the things that they didn't do was they never established an electrical connection, or they don't have an electrical box. Even before our house build was even started, in our case, we hooked up the water and we hooked up the electrical first. So we've been paying electrical and we've been paying the water bill even before we started to build the house. So we got the land. Our land was about 700 square meters. I wanted to build a home that was at least half of that, so 300 square meters. 300 square meters in square footage is about 3,200 square feet. I did not want to have stairs, or I didn't want to have an upper level to the home. Basically, as we get older, I don't think we want to climb stairs. We specifically tried finding that blueprint of a house. We actually like the bungalow style, so we are creating a bungalow style home that's around 3,200 square meters using 12 millimeter rebar. And of course, those houses over there are all concrete structures. I mean, they bury that stuff about 6 feet in the ground with concrete and rebar. They build up, and then they used a hollow block for the walls, and then they put in electrical and water, and then do the roof. Usually the roofs are done by metal trusses. Some are actually pointed trusses, and you can see those trusses when you look at Philippine homes. They're actually like a triangle or a TP style of truss. I'm actually having trusses put in, but they're built in lower. They're lower trusses, so you actually see the outer wall of the roof, but you don't see the roof. So I've got trusses. They're just lower to the same height of the outside wall. Those trusses should be going up soon. I know in my 30th video you're going to see they finally poured the I have a terrace on top, or a roof deck on top of the garage that has finally been poured. So I have a concrete roof deck above the garage, which is really good. The outline of the home is pretty much completed now. If you've been paying attention to the other videos that I've been putting up, I think I'm on weeks 21 and 22. I think I've already supplied to YouTube. So yes, there's a lot of things that you can still look at and compare on those homes compared to other videos of people that are putting house build videos up. Now, of course, in the videos, you know, some things else to take a look at and compare to is sometimes when you do an outline of the groundbreaking, usually they'll bring in a backhoe and just build a trench around where the rebarb is going to sit in and where they're going to put the concrete over the rebar. Well, in our case, we actually had them dig the trench with perfect edges. They used a form for the concrete, which made the form a solid concrete block underground. And sometimes I've seen other videos where they actually just dig the trench with a hoe and then dump that concrete right in there, so it's not really a formed concrete structure. I mean, I would imagine that it's still solid. I mean, it is a dug hole in the ground. You do have the rebar to strengthen the concrete. You pour the concrete into the actual ground and build up from there. You know, the houses in the Philippines aren't like the houses here in America, where usually it's just a concrete slab and then you got a wood frame stucco house sit on top of it, which would easily blow away in any type of a storm or anything like that. So that's about where I am in the house. You know, and I just want, you know, you guys to think about where you're going to live at when you do arrive in the Philippines, or whatever designated country that you decide on living in. Basically, you want to make sure that you can find a good place to rent. Matter of fact, in the meantime, even before I finish building the house, I have to have a place to rent. My wife and I actually found a place that was as low as $68 a month, and that's USD dollars. So we was pretty happy about that. We're still waiting. There's a couple that's already renting that particular place right now, and they're going to be taking off to, I believe, Canada, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know for sure, but we'll see if once they leave. I've seen a couple of pictures of the home, and it's not a bad rental for $68 USD per month, just for the next 5 or so months for our house to get built and finished. So, you know, I think really a more realistical, good apartment to purchase is probably around $200, $400 a month. I mean, you don't want to pay or rent something that would cost you the same as a mortgage in the United States. Then again, I've always had a cheap mortgage compared to today's prices. I mean, the people that purchased my home are almost paying 1.5 to 2 times more than what I'm paying in mortgage, or what I was paying in mortgage. So yeah, I don't want to go. I wouldn't want you to go to a foreign country and pay what you would pay by doing a mortgage. You know, just find that $200, $400 rent, and perhaps that would be better. Just want to you know, cover that, make sure that people are thinking about where they're going to live, or how they're going to purchase land, who they're going to use as an intermediary, who's going to do the legwork for the title. Definitely make sure you do have a title for the land, that there's no hiccups in the ownership of land before you start to build. You know, there's going to be changes. Even once we found our perfect bungalow style home that we liked, we supplied those plans to the engineer, and he drew up the plans. However, we noticed that because our land was 700 square meters, it was 700 square meters long and not wide. So our house, when he drew up the plans, the house was long ways instead of sideways, and my wife was like, hey, we're not facing the main road, we're facing a side road that is not the main road. So I ended up having to go back to the engineer and say, you know, we want our house to be facing the main road. So I wanted to keep the same build of the home. I wanted the 300 square meters. I still wanted it all one level, and I wanted to keep the size of all the bathrooms and the rooms and things of that nature the same size. And the engineer was he accommodated that request, and drew up the same exact bungalow style home, just long ways instead of sideways. So that was really a good thing for us. We were really happy with it. Another thing you might want to think about, that if you are living in the Philippines, what are you going to do as you age? What kind of home care, or you know, you need somebody to check on you while you're there in the Philippines. Don't go there and be a loner. I wouldn't suggest that. You know, don't be alone in the Philippines. Make sure you have contacts, whether it's Filipino or American or from whatever prospective country that you're from. That's one of the things, even in our house build, we had to think about. Not necessarily a maid per se, but somebody that would take care of my wife and I as we age. So that was actually part of the house plans. So we have a section of the house that has a dirty kitchen, a pantry, a room, a quarters, and then their own bathroom. And that way, that part of the house is actually for the keeper, the one that can take care of us and can live there, and it will be shut off by a door that goes into our portion of the house. And again, our portion of the house, I didn't try to make it too extravagant. I mean, all you need is a living room, a kitchen, a couple of spare bedrooms, you know, for guests, visitors, family, the main bedroom, maybe a walk-in closet and a bathroom for that. I also made sure that all the bedrooms had their own bathroom. So those were just some of the considerations that we used for building a home. And so I encourage you to, again, make comments. Watch the home videos at least up until week 34. Again, there won't be any narration on those until we actually get to the Philippines, and I can start the narration myself, and you know, just try to explain some of the things that I'm looking at, some of the things that I'm seeing, the structure of the home. Again, Philippines does it their own way. One point that I made, especially watching a lot of videos and home building videos, sometimes the foreigner wants to be involved a little bit too much in the building of the home. The Philippines have their own way of doing things. They have their own construction. They have their own ways of putting in the electrical. They have their own ways of registering the home or putting the blueprints up, their fees, whatever the case is. That is how they do it. And to be quite honest, since I did have since I did get a really good engineer and a very good crew of people, I don't need to say anything to them. They are doing what they need to do. They know what the blueprint is. They follow the instructions of the engineer. They do everything that they need to do for themselves. And I tell you, that's something that I'm really appreciative of. I don't need to be that foreigner that's there looking over their shoulders, telling them what they need to do or how we do it in the United States. Because really, the way that we do it in the United States, I don't think really lives up to par. I mean, like I said, concrete slab, wood frame house, or you get a completely concrete poured rebar house built into the ground that can pretty much withstand tsunamis and everything else. I'm pretty, I call it almost, I mean, it's almost castle-like. The way that the structures go up, you know, it's sort of like, reminds me of the old castles of England. So hopefully that's what happens. Hopefully the structure lasts. We probably will be leaving that house once we pass to our children as something that they can use in the future as either a vacation home or maybe a place to stay if they ever needed to. And those are my thoughts. So tell me what you think. You know, make some comments down in the comment section. You know, maybe give a scenario or a plan of what you're going to do and let other people respond to that. And thank you again for checking out the channel, Arizona Trails to Philippine Tales. And again, I hope to bring you tales once we get to the Philippines. So thank you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.